What's up, YouTube? It's the Blue Collar Magic Guy. Today we're going to be going through a deck that I've personally made for Rakdos the Muscle. Now, I sadly didn't pull him from the box opening. I had to go and get him. I was so excited to build him. To me, he's the most exciting commander to coming from this set. I haven't built a deck that truly fit the villainous role in about two or three years. So I'm very excited to be the villain at my table, to be the enemy, and still win. So here's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be going through my Moxfield. I'm going to go through kind of the theme that I want from this deck and how I think we should be building it. If you want to go check out the full deck list, it's going to be up on Moxfield. My username is Hogabo. You can go give me a follow there, but I just think we should get started. I named it the deck, Give Them Nothing, but Take From Them Everything, because that's what we're going to be doing. As I'm just going to scroll down here. So Rakdos. We all know we're going to sacrifice creatures. We're going to exile cards equal to that card's mana value that we sacrificed. And we're going to exile cards from target opponent's library. And then we're going to be able to play those cards until the next end step. So what I want to be doing with this deck, I want to be able to play those cards that I exile. So I want to be able to play them immediately. So I have an overwhelming treasure theme in this deck. But I also have a lot of cards in here that are high mana value that I want to be able to just get rid of that I don't really care about. But I also have ways of getting those cards back. So I want to be creating treasure tokens. I want to be benefiting from those cards that I'm playing from exile. And I'm going to be trying to get my cards back from the graveyard. So let's go over some key cards. I think Agitator Ant, it's smart in this deck because I'm going to be sacrificing my own creatures. I'm not going to have a whole lot of creatures up. So I think goading other creatures and tempting them with putting on the 1/1 counters and goading their creatures, getting them bigger, we don't care if they're bigger. We're going to goad them, send them in other directions, and we're going to bait them into just doing whatever we want. We want to have other sacrifice outlets in this deck, like a Cool. We want to be benefiting from treasures like Ancient Copper Dragon. We want to be making a ton of treasures, but also having low mana value creatures. So a big card in this deck, in this set, is Flaming Tyrannosaurus. I think it really fits in well with this deck because it's a good way of pinging people whenever we're playing things from exile. And I think that's really important because the theme of this deck is with all the treasures, we want to be playing as many things from opponents' libraries that we can. And every time that we're doing that, we're going to be pinging them with damage with cards like Flaming Tyrannosaurus, Keeper of Secrets. It's a common theme, and I think it's gonna be important. Karn the Betrayer, good card draw in red. But Goldspan Dragon, I think it's just with all the treasure tokens we can be creating, people are also gonna be trying to get rid of a lot of our things. Goldspan Dragon, if anyone tries to get rid of it, we can always just sack it, and it's gonna be beautiful. So the overwhelming theme is treasure tokens. We want to be playing those cards when we exile. We want to be benefiting from the cards that we're playing from exile. We want to have also a common theme in this is that Rakdos shouldn't be the only thing that we're exiling cards with. So we want to have cards like Elder Brain. We want to have cards that are also going to be exiling from the top of opponents' libraries. We want to be almost milling them out. We want to leave them no options. We're going to force them to act. I also put a good amount of board wipes in here because with all the sack outlets that we're going to be having, if we just were to say we're overwhelmed, we put out a Blasphemous Act, we put out a Blood Money, and then what happens? We can just sack all of our creatures through our sack outlets, and they're the only ones that really lose because they're also going to be exiling all those cards from the top of the library. Cards like Disrupt Decorum, we want to keep goading. Defossilize, we want to be returning stuff from our graveyard. Reanimate. Rousing Refrain's in here. Oh, excuse me. Got the burps. I'm enjoying a nice beverage. Jeska's Will, I mean, we want to be able to have big turns with Rousing Refrain and Jeska's Will. We want to be able to get all the mana we can, play as many cards as we can on one turn for an opponent's library. And it also says in Rakdos that it just says play cards until the end of the next turn. So we can also be playing their lands to have bigger turns on the next phase. Instance, Chaos Warp, Dark Ritual, we want to have bigger turns. Deadly Rollick, Deflecting Swat, Imp's Mischief, Return the Favor, Seething Song. So with Seething Song, Dark Ritual, we want to have those massive turns. We want a big turnout. We want to be able to play those cards. And Deadly Rollick and Chaos Warp, we have to have some kind of answers in this. We have to be able to protect our stuff. If there is a major problem on the board, I always like to have answers. On with the artifacts. We always need Soul Ring. And then I put Champion's Helm in here as well, along with Swiftfoot Boots and Lightning Greaves, because Rakdos is going to be a problem. People are going to try to remove them. And having 3 things that are going to give it hexproof, I think is worth it. So that we're going to be guaranteed to be, or not guaranteed, but it's going to up the percentage of getting those cards so that we can protect them. Dream Theme's Bandana. It's another thing that's we're going to be exiling cards with. And then Expedited Inheritance. So this is more of a group hug thing. But again, every time that a creature is going to be dealt damage, its controller may exile that many cards from the top of their library. They may play those cards until the next turn. So I love this card in this deck because we're going to be exiling more cards from the top of their library. And then on top of that, we're also going to be baiting them to exile more cards, and then we're going to make them want to do it, because then they're going to be thinking, oh, well, at least I get to play some of these. But the overwhelming theme is they're still going to be exiling cards from the top of the library. Passionate Archaeologist, where, again, we're just going to be pinging. Spiteful Boundary. It's another board wipe, but hey, treasure tokens. The lands I put in this are pretty medium. But like I said, we are going to be using lands from opponents' libraries as well. And I just want to make sure everyone knows that I do not actually have this land. I use proxies for my lands sometimes, especially trying to save money and all this other stuff. But that's kind of my overview of how this deck is going to be working. I want to have multiple sources exiling from top of opponents' libraries. I want to have a bunch of treasures so that I can go and play all of those cards that I'm going to be exiling. And then I want to have some graveyard retrieval to get those cards back that I am sacrificing. Because if I'm going to be sacrificing an Ancient Copper Dragon, I'm going to want it back. So this is my first deck overview. And I'm trying to be quick with it. Trying to get better with the whole YouTube video things, and I just appreciate you guys being here and watching this. If you want to follow me on Moxfield, all my decks are up there, every deck that I made. And if you want to see the full card list, if you want to get these cards, go ahead and do it. And I appreciate you guys subscribing, liking the videos, commenting. And also while you're in Moxfield, go check out my friends that I have on here. You have Furious Flamingos, is going to be one user who's a very smart deck builder. And then you're going to have someone named Doobie, who is also, he's maybe the smartest deck builder I've ever met. His decks are very cohesive with what they want to do, and he wins a lot. So they're both good follows on Moxfield. All 3 of us are good follows on Moxfield. But definitely, if you want to check out this deck more to its value, then go ahead and head there. But I appreciate you watching this video, and be back for more.